Thank you very much, and thank you to Casey and to Alejandra and to all the audience to be here. Well, I'm Felipe Gonzalez. I'm chef of the Culinary Schools of California. Right now, I'm working from Mexico because we open here operations with the company that I represent, which is Food White Studio, which is a Colombian company who has operations also in Peru and, of course, in Mexico. We work on in the hospitality industry, focus on tourism, gastronomy, academy, developing projects for clients in the industry, doing consulting, designing food and beverage operations, catering for events, and also everything that has to be with coaching and training personnel. So as my fellow speakers already done a great job talking about the food industry in Colombia, I'm gonna focus on the HoReCa sector, starting by giving you a more specific view of the industry, its behavior during its past 10 years, and how are we dealing with this situation that have us here all of lockdown right now. Veronica also helped us with doing a slide with everything concerned this info and the information of our company in case you need to contact us later. So thank you, Veronica, and your team for the diligence. Well, the Colombia HoReCa sector has been reporting an amazing growth for the last 10 years, and that's mainly due to the improvements on the country security for one side and the investment that the country has been doing on tourism that has now Colombia on the spotlight of those looking for experiences, adventure, nature, tourism, good food, and everything. So Cotelco, which is the Colombian Hotel Association, said that operations at the end of last year increased at 8% compared to last year, the year before. And Acodres, which is the Colombian Restaurant Association, also said that the growth over the past 10 years is around 150%. That's amazing if you check the data. So that's mainly as a result of the arrival of many franchises and brands that came to the country to do business, you know, boosting up the quality standards of the industry, but also demanding a lot of labor. So the labor have to be well trained, improving the quality of the product at the end, but also importing a lot of food products from overseas. Customer behavior also changed during these past 10 years. As Casey was saying, we have a steady middle class with a better income, and the total reported growth for the restaurant industry in the past 4 years was in the order of the 60%, with more than 90,000 food service establishments open, of course, at the end of last year. Also, Colombia in the past 4 years began to appear in the most important lists that rate the best restaurants around the world and like the best culinary experiences. And that's mainly because we have been working a lot, we as a chefs, like trying to bring up the Colombian products that are great. We have a very nice food restaurant scene in Colombia, in cities like Bogota and Cartagena and Medellin as well. Barranquilla is coming up with a very nice restaurant proposal. So, and talking about products, biodiversity is our competitive advantage. We have a lot of products and and many different kinds of them. Cooks are very well trained and prepared to attend international markets. And Colombian food concepts for restaurant operation have become an opportunity for businesses abroad, as we have seen many Colombian restaurants coming up in Canada, in the US, and in Europe as well. For all of us in the industry, we will expecting that for this 2020, the Colombian restaurant industry to be in the spotlight, as happened to Peru and Mexico in the past. Well, but this situation has slowed down everything, so we will see. Well, the government in Colombia decided to close the whole HoReCa sector industry since March. And just until this past week, they started to opening some restaurant trials to see customer behaviors and to see the compliance of the security protocols that we have put in place. And we're looking to it. So to go deeper into the HoReCa sector, I'm going to start with the hotels, which has been the most beaten out of the three. Restrictions were set to internal travelers. The skies are completely closed to national and international flights. Hotel operations have been closed for more than 5 months now, as Casey said before. And tourism revenue is reported almost to zero for this period. There are many hotel operations that went out of business, and those partner with international brands with deeper pockets are trying to survive and trying to keep up the contracts. They made huge personal cuts, and that also brought some impact in suppliers. In the other hand, moving to restaurants, they also have been closed to public in most of Colombia, most part of Colombia. And there is something important to take in account, and is that just a small sector of the whole industry was already on the delivery business. So, and that's mainly fast food. And the reason is because it's cultural, because Colombians are more oriented to have the full restaurant experience, but also because delivery options were not set in the right way due to quality, mainly because usually quality for these kinds of foods decrease dramatically. So as a response to be close to the public, restaurants began to work on delivery options, starting to create, the web page, trying to move to the digital market, began to contract with those platforms that Casey was telling us of before, Rappi, Uber Eats, and domicilios.com, which I think are the three biggest of the country. And dealing with this huge demand of that the closure of the restaurants, the dining option brought to those platforms has been quite a challenge. Also, the experience that have these these delivery options at home wasn't good at the beginning, so that was tough for the industry at the beginning of the lockdown. as a trend, I see that customer behavior switched a little bit, and they started to cook themselves, following those many chefs that went out of business, and as a main of keeping the pace of the market, decided to start cooking online, so teaching to cook online. And also as a response to this situation, many restaurateurs started to open those dark kitchen models, offering new concepts, better design, or better suited to the delivery options, to try to compensate the low incomes that the situation came with. And we face a couple of problems with those new adventures of the industry. One of them was the kitchen equipment suppliers weren't ready to face the demand to open those new kitchens, because they usually have too short inventory on Colombia, so they have to the equipment has to be imported, and also the exchange rate was very high. And the other difficult situation was also that the packaging industry in Colombia is like very basic, so they weren't ready to keep up with the demand of the restaurant industry. The catering sector got beaten too. Indoors events were forbidden, and outdoor events were restricted to a maximum of 50 people, with beverage and food restrictions. So many caterers also switched to the dark kitchen option to try to compete on the market. I see that from the supplier's point of view, the picture has been very different. They reported an increase in their business, even competing very close to the retail, with great results. They had to adapt the logistic to the demand of the households, that saw people starting like replacing, the restaurant experience for the cook it yourself at home. So they became to start to contact the restaurant suppliers for having the products that they usually have at the restaurant to have it at home. So and the whole industry, the suppliers changed the logistic, and that worked very nice. The Colombian food production began the year with a 6% increase, and at the end of July, they were with the 18% or so on growth. Families, of course, were driven to be well supplied due to the situation, and spending more money on food. So I see opportunities. We at Foodwise Studio see that there is a big opportunity for growth once this is over. We are positive on recovery, and see space for new imported products and goods. For example, we lack of many kinds of high quality food that is considered like luxury. There are just 2 or 3 suppliers in Colombia, so that make it difficult for them to respond to the demand of the restaurants. And also, in the other side, the restaurants don't want to have a product in their menu, and then having a problem having the actual product from the supplier. We see a lot of space and an opportunity for kitchen equipment companies, and also for restaurant supplies company, and for companies, of course, as I said before, offering better packaging solutions. A survey that I saw on Dinero, which is a magazine focused on economy and trends in Colombia, showed that if Colombians had better income, they will definitely spend that in food, and most of them will spend the money, the spare money, in high quality foods. So people is actually thinking to eat better. The market is on the need for healthy options, organic food, or food oriented to wellness or well-being. Consumption of wine, artisan beers is taking over, and also there is some room for spirits, for less commercial brands, and cocktails became a trend in Colombia in general during this lockdown. So, and I also want to say that we see that the Alimentech platform is a great opportunity for those interested in contact buyers and suppliers. I personally went to Anuga, which is the sister fair in Europe, and it was an amazing experience. And I've been in Alimentech twice, and actually we have been doing business with them, so it's great. I strongly suggest you to go. I'm gonna switch a little bit to the region to make a little comparison between the situation between Peru and Mexico and Colombia. Peru, which is the one to follow in the restaurant scene in Latin America right now, has been beaten very hard because the current situation, and recovery seems to be very slow because restaurateurs have invested very big monies to keep with the growing industry. They also have bigger operation costs. As we have seen, we have an operation in Peru, and we have seen that they're switching to buy less expensive ingredients and less expensive products for their operations. In the case of the trends that we see on the Peruvian market, we see that the market is in the need of having better meats and better beef, mainly wine, frozen and ready-to-eat foods, as well as they're looking for healthy options and organic food products. I will say that Mexico, which has been open for operations for most of the year, the lockdown was very short, almost for a month. People had been keeping the food consumption and the restaurant food consumption because of they have here a better developed platform for delivery and for takeaway concepts. So we don't see that the restaurant business were beaten too hard as we have seen in Colombia and Peru. What we have seen is that informal operations are the ones more affected because public is trying to avoid to eat in street food stands, of course, because of the health issue. And something that I wanted to bring is the great alliance that the Pacific Alliance brought between Peru, Mexico, and Colombia. We haven't seen here in Mexico and also in the market of Peru a shortage of Colombian or Mexican products. So that's been very fine.